Hey, what's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? This is Christopher, and I am here today to talk a little bit about politics and the candidates running for this election cycle that we're currently in. And I'll also give a little breakdown of my political history, my, timeline of evolution in my political views. But let's start with the election and the candidates. So if you see my other video, you know that I am a Trump supporter. Trump gets a lot of hatred, and I think it's unfair because I don't think everybody's really looking at what he's saying, and they're not really looking at what he is capable of doing. I know a lot of it started the way he announced that he was running for president. A lot of it comes from his boisterous, non-politically correct, sort of over-the-top showmanship, the way, he calls people dummies and things like that. But you know what? That's one of the reasons why I like him, because he's not playing the game. He's not trying to act like he's superior to us. He's saying, hey, I'm one of you guys. Yeah, I'm a billionaire, but I'm just a normal person, and I talk like a normal person. I don't try to act like I'm some blue blood, look at me and how fine I am and how refined I talk. He's not like that. He's a New Yorker, for one, and he talks like a New Yorker does, quite frankly. So he's a billionaire. He just don't care. He can do whatever the hell he wants, basically. I mean, but to me, that's great. I'm tired of politicians all, polished, and they're not doing anything for us. They're just filling their own pockets and making their other rich friends richer. So that's one of the things that I do like about Trump. So I watched his victory speech the other day, and to me, that seemed like a good speech. Since Ron Paul, he's the only person talking about scaling down majorly our military adventurism around the globe. He talks about how much money it's costing us and how much lives it's costing us. Why do American troops have to keep dying for foreign conflicts? I've been asking this question for years. Since being a Ron Paul supporter, I've been curious as to why our military is so spread thin around the globe, why it costs us so much money to fight other people's conflicts and just be involved in policing the world and nation building. That money could be spent here at home on the things that, Bernie keeps promising, free healthcare and this and that, and higher minimum wages. That stuff needs to be paid for. And instead of taxing people like me, that are just getting by, why don't we stop sending money to Israel? Why don't we stop spreading our military so thin around the globe? If we kept that money home, you're talking trillions of dollars. That money can go to paying for a lot of stuff here at home for American people, particularly American, everybody in America, every American citizen, every tax-paying or non-tax-paying if you don't have a job, but it should be used for Americans on American soil, not around the globe. It's our money, it's my money, it's your money, it's not the government's money. Remember that. The government does not create money. The government creates nothing. We are the government's ATM machine. We work 40 hours a week, well, some of us do, and pay 30% of that in taxes. So that's theft. And I'm sorry, but Bernie Sanders wants more theft. He wants to legalize stealing more money from me, and I'm not cool with that. I need my money. And I have a question to ask. Why am I, the way the Democrats speak, we're supposed to be so concerned about education for everybody and healthcare for everybody and blah, blah, blah for everybody. How come I'm supposed to be so concerned? Now, this is a personal thing. Why am I supposed to be so concerned about someone else's education, but no one's so concerned about my future? Every time you steal more money from me, that's less money in my pocket that I can save for my future. So you're trying to act like we're being selfish for not wanting the government to take more money from us, which all it's going to do is grow the government larger. Come on, people, wake up, stop being ignorant. That money is going to go into a larger bureaucracy. It's going to go into making the government bigger and stronger. It's not going to trickle out to us, believe me. They say things like that all the time, and it just doesn't happen. Bernie isn't some benevolent messiah. And even if he was, he's not going to get that socialist agenda through, especially a Republican ran House and Senate. So stop being naive little babies in this, unicorn safe world that you're trying to create, because that's not how life works. You steal from me, you're stealing from my future. So think about that. When you think about not wanting to pay for your kids' education because you're too lazy to save your own money, and you're voting to legalize theft to take my money from me, think about how you're stealing from my future and any money that I can put away towards my retirement, towards buying a home or whatever I wanted to do with my money that I work for. I don't know why the government even thinks they have a right to steal what they're stealing to begin with. So, okay, let's get back to the issue. That was a little off-topic rant. Donald Trump wants to pull the military out of being the world's policeman, and I am 100% behind that. And, at the very least, he's saying, well, if we are going to be in these countries protecting them, their countries should be paying for the costs of what it costs. You know what it costs to run the military, to keep, again, like I said, trillions of dollars. And those countries all have money. Israel has money. Europe has money. China has money. Well, we're not in China, but Korea has money. All these countries where we're at, they have money. They can pay for this stuff. We shouldn't be paying to, protect or be involved in their conflicts. Think about that, people. So let's see, another reason why I like Trump. Trump is the only person that's running that has true business experience, true negotiating power. One thing that Trump and Bernie both agree on is the trade deals suck, they're horrible, they sent all our jobs overseas, and they both want to get rid of them. The difference is Bernie Sanders has no negotiating skills. He's been a government agent for most of his life. He has no business skills. He don't know how to negotiate these kinds of deals. Trump has built stuff all around the world. You got to deal with government to get permits, to get licensing. You got to deal with business people. He knows how to deal. He knows how to make these negotiations. He's the only one. Hillary Clinton was a lawyer. She was a lawyer that defended rape people from rape, getting rapists that rape 12-year-old girls out of jail or shortened sentences. That's what Hillary did. And Bernie has been collecting taxpayer welfare in the form of a government paycheck for, his whole adult life. Trump is the only one that's worked in the private industry. He's created probably tens of thousands of jobs in his lifetime. He negotiated with governments, with business people. He knows what he's doing. Whether you like him or not, he has a billion-dollar empire. If that's not successful, at least in the financial and the business aspect of success, I don't know what is. And no matter how he got his start, he still turned that money into a billion-dollar empire. Think of all the football players that make $30, $40 million. They retire, and in 5 years, they're broke. So just because you have money doesn't mean it's going to grow into $1 billion. You got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing to make that $1 billion. And that guy obviously knows what the hell he's doing to turn $2 million into billions of dollars in a worldwide empire. Now, another thing about Trump is he's not a politician. He's a true outsider. He's shaking up the system. He told us, he's like, hey, look, I used this system when I was a businessman. I know it's broken. I know how to manipulate it, and now I want to fix it. I know how. I know the ins and outs of this thing. He's telling us that. He's like, this system is broken, and he's going to shake it up. So now think of it. At best, he'll fix everything, and everybody will be happier, and everybody will be better off for it. At worst, he'll crack the foundation of our government, and we can tear this old, outdated system apart brick by brick and build a new technological, decentralized, I don't even want to call it a government, but society in the United States that will be based around technology and people's needs and freedom. How about freedom? Freedom, this is the United States, the land of the free, home of the brave. So how about that? So either Trump does good and fixes it and everybody succeeds, or he cracks the foundation, we tear it apart, and we build something better. That sounds like a plan to me. Bernie wants to take us into this socialist, social justice warrior, PC, tax the hell out of everybody, safe space, blah, everybody's got to be so equal, and you don't want to offend anybody because you're going to break their feelings if they get offended. Nobody gets hurt by hurt feelings. Like, no one loses a leg by having their feelings hurt. Get over it. So, and I don't even want to get into Hillary. She's a criminal. Her and Bill Clinton are absolute criminals. They're part of the Bush, at least Bernie, I believe he's honest. Like, he's sincere in his beliefs. I disagree with every belief of his. He has no idea about the economy, how to run the economy, about money. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that's more important than people's feelings getting hurt. Let's fix this country. Let's get everybody working, and then everybody will be too busy to worry about, social justice warrior issues. I think that's the problem right now, People are, like, all these millennials are out at work because there's no jobs out there. So what do when you got nothing to do? You start finding things to fight with. So, yeah, that's why I support Trump. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. It's kind of sad that the three people that run for office is a crazy old man who's, Bernie, a lying criminal, Hillary, and, a reality star business billionaire, Trump. I mean, and Gary Johnson. But, I already said what I said about him. There should be more intellectual people running, more like super creative minded people, technological based people, things like that, freedom based people. But out of the choices, Trump is absolutely the best, in my opinion, and watch and see, he will fix things, or like I said, smash the foundation to the point to where we can rebuild a decentralized, true fair market, voluntary society all across this land where everybody can be free to do whatever the hell they want to do as long as they don't, step on anybody else's toes and they bear the responsibility for what they do. Now, I said I was going to give you a little bit of a timeline of my political affiliations or whatever. So way back in the 90s, mid-90s, I was like a syndicalist anarchist, the red and black anarchist flag. I guess it kind of could cross into that socialist, but I never really liked that socialist. But it was the left back then was against the government. It was anti-authoritarian, it was radical. It was like live free, like a libertarian, live free, but smash the capitalist rich pigs. I was all about that at the time because, I wasn't so educated on the issues, I'll be honest. And then I heard about Ron Paul a few years later, and I started learning about libertarianism, and Ron Paul started to make all this sense. And it was weird because I was like, how can this Republican be making all this sense? But he's making absolute sense. And then I was living in California for a while and hanging out with these Ron Paul people and learning more and more. And man, it would tear me up. I'm telling you, like, the fact that this Republican was saying everything spot on and the left was wrong, but I came from the left, and it was so hard to shed that. It was so hard, especially, like, I have other interests with the left. I'm left-handed and, left-hand path and stuff like that. But politically, it was so hard to, like, accept that. It was painful. It was like, no, the left they were right. But nowadays, the left is so authoritarian. They're so statist. They're not against the government. They want bigger government. They want a nanny state. They want the government to control every aspect of your life down to your feelings. It's ridiculous, like how far and regressive the left has become. I don't even like calling it the left anymore. I call it like regressive liberals, authoritarianism, statism, something like that. But yeah, so and then I got more and more into libertarianism. Then I started learning about minarchism, which is like uber libertarian. Like it's somewhere in between libertarianism and anarchism, where it's like the tiniest government possible. But then I learned about voluntarism, where like it's a voluntary society, and everything's fine to do. Anything that's not violent, not harming anybody else, not getting on anybody else's personal space or property. Live free, man. Live free. It was like that, and it is like that. That's what I truly believe. I know, like, Trump isn't quite that, but he isn't the establishment. He isn't and this election is too important to let Hillary, especially Hillary, but even especially Sanders, because of his awful economic ideas. Not to mention, he's building war machines in Vermont. He's not trying to scale back the military. Believe me, he's not. So, yeah, that's where I come from. That's where I am. That's why I choose to support Trump. I don't believe he's a racist. I believe that's all twisted, shortcut to thinking, liberal, biased media, soundbite culture, people not really like reading his words, watching his speeches. Go watch his victory speech from the other night, from June 7th. Basically when he declared the nomination. Go watch that. And he says, like, I don't have to do this. And he doesn't have to do this. He's a billionaire. He doesn't have to do this. And he's spending his own money to pay for this. A few, like, small donations from people like us. But he's basically spending his own money. Why would he do that? Like, tell me what he has to gain. And yes, if he brings the country to, like, a better situation than it's in now, yes, he does stand to make more money in the business world, but we all do, because the economy will be better. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that in a free market society. Why can't he benefit? But on the other hand, he's not doing this for some nefarious reason. He's going to be spending close to $1 billion when this is said and done. Maybe not that much, because he's actually really smart in getting the media to, like, put him on all the time. So, maybe $500 million, but that's a lot of money. He's spending on his own, and he's taking a lot of heat from a lot of people. Why would he put himself out there like that unless he really believed and he really wanted to fix this country? And it's not racism, none of that, because black people, everybody will benefit from this. Everybody across the board will benefit. We're not going back to 1950 like Hillary thinks that Make America Great is code for going back to like 1950s. No, this is 2016. People are not going to revert to like slavery and segregation and women like barefoot and pregnant. That's not going to happen. Like, wake up, stop being naive, stop being ignorant. This is 2016. We live in a technological, where we got all this information at the tip of our fingers in an instant. Like, I'm holding a phone that I can talk to you all, like this. So we're not going to regress back. If anybody wants regression, it's the left. It's the regressive liberals. They're the ones, they cause all the division. They cause all the hate. Look at, like, when they're out there saying, this is hate, this is hate, this is hate, Trump is hate, Trump. They're riling everybody up. They're creating these riots. HuffPost put an article out the other day saying that, if Trump wins, expect riots. The liberals should want a riot, right? Who's creating that? That's coming from the regressive left, the regressive liberals. They're creating the hatred. They're creating the division. Think about it. Think outside the box. Stop buying into the soundbite culture that's out there. Use your brains. Wake up. So that's where I am. Check out my videos, like my page, subscribe, share this if you think it's relevant. Check me out on Instagram at Cult of Christopher. I'll leave the information down below. Check out my art. Follow me there. Twitter, same address. All right, then. Until the next time. Think for yourself. Use your brain that you got, that little monkey brain that we have up there. Use it for some good. All right, check you next time.